how would you advise people to remain competitive and relevant through all stages of the finance evolution? Mr. Bashir, could you take this question first?
Okay, thank you. I think I mentioned this briefly in my last comment, but I think the starting point is to even first understand the value chain of the Islamic finance industry. You need to understand what are the, interplays, what are the requirements, what are the objectives, who are the players, what are the products, what is the need. So once you have that understanding, and the next thing is to look for how to deepen your knowledge. There are so many ways to do this. One way is, through self-development, where you could actually begin to look for literatures, begin to look for lectures. Like this is also one of those ways, through the MICA platform, we're able to at least bring professionals to come and, stimulate our, our thoughts around what Islamic financing is. So, I mean, there are a lot of resources on Google that we can also use to at least have some basic understanding of, the Islamic financing. There are a lot of lectures that, are also freely available. So there are lots of lectures that have been handled by even Islamic scholars. I can attest to there was a comprehensive, almost 2 hours lecture by Professor Alaru, where he actually delved into, the nitty-gritty of Islamic finance. So those are just like the background, that we need to have as Muslim as a starting point. How do we then take this knowledge to the next level? So I talked about certification. So depending on, what your ambitions are and what, role you want to play within the Islamic finance space. So if you're currently an Islamic finance, if you are currently working in the financial services industry, I think you will not do this Ummah a lot of justice if you don't, volunteer to deepen your knowledge of this, because I mean, we're looking up to you. The Islamic community, the Ummah is looking up to you, for guidance when it comes to what does Islam has to say, in Islamic finance. So you are not only doing this for yourself, you are also doing this for the Ummah, by deepening your knowledge. So you can take certification courses. There are quite a number of them that have been accredited by the Sharia board, which we can take. Like I know that CIFE has been accredited by AOFI. AOFI is one of the bodies that are regulating the Sharia when it comes to Islamic financing. So that is also one way. And I'm also very sure that you could also want to see what other, organizations are doing outside of the country. To the extent that, some people, if, non-Muslims can actually go to Malaysia, just like Dr. has said, to do a 9-month course on Islamic finance. What excuse do we have as Muslims, to be able to also be able to do this? And, it depends on what you want to achieve. So if you want to be a player in the industry, I think this knowledge is beneficial. Even as a Muslim, this knowledge is equally going to be beneficial for you and I. More importantly, we should always purify our intention when we are searching for this knowledge. We're looking for this knowledge so that we use it to benefit humanity, so that we'll be able to use it to serve our Lord better, so that we're able to differentiate what is halal from what is haram, because there is usually a thin line, between halal and haram when it comes to banking, especially the conventional way. And that is why we have the Islamic financing option. But we have the knowledge, and that is, where the call for action is. We need to start deepening our knowledge. We need to start, picking up literature, picking up books, buy books on Islamic finance, read them up, see how if you want to go and do a course, short course. And there are a lot of courses that are available online. Even LinkedIn Learning, Listen, they have courses on Islamic finance. Coursera, they have courses on Islamic finance that we can even use as a starting point before we go for any certification of our choice, if that is the path that we want to go. And we could also go for maybe like a short course or even a classroom course, depending on how deep we want to go in this knowledge. So let me pause here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.